Our single arm chest press is a great strength and stability exercise focusing on the chest, a little bit of the triceps and the shoulders, as well as stability in our core. You can do this laying flat on the floor, or you can do this laying flat on a bench. It is completely up to you. We're only going to be utilizing one dumbbell here. So we're going to grab that dumbbell. If you're doing it on the floor, sit down on the floor. If you're doing it on the bench, sit down on that bench. Rock back to that starting position here where we're laying flat on the floor. Those feet are going to be flat on the floor, whether you're on a bench or whether you're down on the floor here. Those feet should remain planted on the floor for a stable base of support. This is especially important when doing a single arm exercise because you're going to be a lot more unstable in that upper body. You're going to need that added support. So keep those feet flat on the floor. Keep those hips planted into the bench. Keep those shoulders planted into the bench. I like to put one hand kind of on my core here to remind myself to keep it nice and tight and not to rotate, but you're welcome to do whatever you would like with that other hand that's not holding the weight. Nice and controlled, I'm going to press that weight on up right over the chest and then control it back on down to about that 90-degree bend to where that wrist is staying right over the elbow at the bottom. We are essentially mimicking exactly that movement we would do on a normal chest press with both dumbbells, except we're having to focus now on keeping those abs tight and not letting that torso rotate. Biggest mistakes I see made, especially when done on a bench, because that bench is a little bit skinnier. Not saying you shouldn't do one on a bench, but it's a little tougher to focus on it on that bench, is that I'll see people rotate that torso. So as that right arm comes down, that left shoulder kind of gets peeled up, and that body kind of shifts and rotates over to the right because that weight is wanting to pull in that direction. That's why I said focus on squeezing your core, squeezing that left shoulder blade down so that you're not rotating because of that weight as it comes down. Also at the top, we're not rotating and pushing that right shoulder up off either. We are keeping both shoulder blades squeezed back throughout that movement, nice and controlled. Another common mistake I see made is not bending the arm to the correct degree to where that wrist is right over top of that elbow. Sometimes I'll see people come in like this to where you'll see my elbow is far out and that dumbbell is in close to the chest or way out here. Remember, we want to kind of keep about a 90-degree bend at the bottom to where that wrist is directly over that elbow. This will allow us to take a little bit of pressure off of the wrist and focus instead on our strength throughout that movement in the chest, shoulders, and triceps. So, biggest thing to remember on this exercise, stable basis of support, feet on the floor, hips pushed back, shoulders always pushed back, core nice and tight, and then controlling that movement and focusing on our chest. This isolation exercise allows us to individually put all of our focus onto one side at a time. However, you will typically not be able to do as much weight as you would on a normal chest press because of the fact you don't have that weight to counterbalance, and we're having to put focus into the core to keep us stable. So start a little lighter, get comfortable with that movement, and then build up to a challenging weight.